Learn Champion. We're so excited you're here. I'm here with Madison again.
Hi, everybody.
I'm super pumped for today. I hope everyone has had an amazing weekend into the week, because now it's Wednesday by the time you hear this.
Yeah. And Natasha, I believe you have some exciting news that we need to celebrate with our listeners.
Well, I guess I am engaged now. So that's so exciting. I figured since, this is our own little family from Texas all the way to Quebec. It's crazy that you're just as much as a family, and it's fun to celebrate with family.
So congratulations to you and Will.
you.
We're
You're
so happy
next.
for you. Hopefully.
Anyways, but yes, I'm super excited. It's a lot. So this is like a nice break.
Yeah. And we did want to say, so if you have anything that you're celebrating, please comment below so we can celebrate with you.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're a family here. So if you have anything that you're celebrating, new milestones, comment below so we can be praying for you and celebrate with you.
If you don't want to comment below, you can, of course, follow us on Instagram and message, and we will be sure that it will stay between the Listen, Learn Champion family, and we'll be praying for you and celebrating you if it's not something you want to share publicly on the YouTube comments. But going into life can look like a series of books. It can look like just one book in a series, or it can even look like a chapter. But is your life, your books, your series full of green lights, or are they filled with yellow and red? It's a lot. It's a loaded question.
Yeah. Well, driving every day, we look at green, yellow, and red lights, and it can paint such a good picture of a representation of things that can happen in our lives. So all of us can experience red lights in our day-to-day life, not the ones that make us late to work, but other ones. Recently, one that I was thinking about when we were talking about this episode is, do you ever just wake up in the morning and tell yourself, today is going to be a great day? The title of the weekly focus was Win the Day, right? And so you wake up, I'm going to win the day. You put on an outfit you feel good in. This just happened to me 2 weeks ago. You put on an outfit you feel so good in. I just knew it was going to be a great day. Poured my coffee. I'm driving to work. Guess who gets a big coffee stain right in the middle of her white tank top?
Never you.
Yeah, no, it was me. So I said, really? Okay. It's still going to be a good day. So I think it's important to have plans set in place to be able to turn that red panic into a yellow and then into a green if possible. It can be the slightest thing that can turn your day, and it can change the course of your whole day if you let it, right? So it can, and then when you pull up to work, maybe you see your favorite coworker or sweet Susie who sits at the front desk and she's the receptionist every day and makes everyone smile. That can turn your red into a green really quick.
Like, how do you not just focus on that one red moment?
Right. And a way to shift your focus from that is, at least me. So that day, anytime I get a stain on myself, I will constantly say, oh, Natasha, can you believe I spilled coffee all down my shirt? Or I'll go up to, I work with family. So I'll say, Mom, you won't believe what I did today. Look at this big stain. Throughout the day, if you keep pointing at that coffee stain or whatever that red light was in your life that day or that morning, it's going to continuously and perpetually interrupt your day and keep it from getting into that green. So, and I think we try to distract from issues going on in life with humor, which some people use to cope, but most of the time you're bringing attention back to that red light.
Red light, absolutely.
That doesn't necessarily need to hold all of the attention of your day.
Yeah, and just like in that moment, it was a red light, it was a red moment, but you over time were able to turn it into a yellow by making funny jokes about it, but then it has to turn into a green. Like, you no longer focus on that. Just while you were telling that story, I just instantly thought of the story in John 8. It's where there's a woman being called out for adultery and they want to stone her, and Jesus is there and they're like, you're the leader, you need to be the first one. And instead, he wrote down in the sand. It's never said what was written in the sand, but everybody left. So, nobody threw stones at this woman, he stood back up and continued about his day. Just a little sidebar about that is it's so beautiful because he wrote in sand, which means it can be blown away. It's no longer written in stone like the 10 Commandments. So, your identity isn't made in that red light moment. It's made in, changing and turning into something different and something new. But, there's a lot of times, like, what I know we're fresh out of college and, we're starting our career and we're busy. We're really, really busy. And what if in that moment, Jesus wrote in the sand, like, you never take time to rest. You're always busy. When was the last time you spoke to me? Like, imagine if like he wrote in the sand the last time you prayed to him. And if you are really busy, what if it was 2 years ago, but you're like, but I am like a devout Christian. Like, I do try and talk to you. But we get caught up in what's happening now. And I love Exodus 33:14. It says, the Lord replied, my presence will go with you and I will give you rest. But what does it mean to rest in today's generation?
Just speaking personally, and one quick thing on that, if you're thinking of the red, yellow, and green, I automatically picture a stoplight. Mm-hmm. That red, even though they seem really long sometimes, it always goes back to green.
Yep. So
that's another thing to remind yourself is no matter how long you feel like you're sitting at that red light, it always jumps back to green, no matter what. Mm-hmm. But going on to rest, I think it's different for everybody. Rest doesn't always have to mean sleep. I'm not a napper. So rest for me is finding ways to recharge myself in ways that refuel my spirit and my soul so that way I can present the best version of myself day in and day out at work to my family, to my significant other, and to my friends. So that can mean going to the beach for a day, an hour, digging into a new book, just getting some sunshine, going to a favorite restaurant with a friend. If you're an extrovert, maybe you need to recharge with some solo time. That's something that I have found over time is I thought I always would recharge with people, but at some point, I guess I do need to be alone for a little bit, and that's okay. So rest can look different for a lot of different people, but it's so important because that's your time to recharge yourself to present the best version of yourself.
Yeah. So Felicia's obviously not here today, but I love how, she uses Proverbs 3:24. She was in a season of her life where sleeping was really hard, and it's, you will sleep like a baby, safe and sound. Your rest will be sweet and secure. And she just kind of was like, I prayed that over my life and out loud and just, so that I could sleep better. And I just love that. If you do struggle with sleep, we've talked about it in a past episode, like how you just feel more defeated when you sleep rather than recharge. I encourage you to pray that. Felicia encourages you to pray that. But resting, I feel like in today's world means you are lazy. If you are not hustling, if you are not bustling, if you are not constantly planning your next move, that you are lazy and that you are not good enough. And I just want to break that now. Like, that's not true. You are worthy. You are secure. Like, your decisions of resting is going to benefit your future more than if you just keep going. Like I said, Jesus often went alone, and that's why there is a Sabbath day. And I think that's a really loaded word. Everyone says Sabbath day, and I think people think of, the Jews, and you're in utter silence for 24/7. You're not speaking to anyone. And it looks very different for everyone else. So, like, what do you do maybe for your Sabbath day, or what does that word mean to you?
Yeah, Sabbath, it means a day of rest. Mm-hmm. And I think a good picture and a base to go back to is if the Lord rested, the creator of the universe and of everything, if he rested, so can we.
Yeah.
And so should we.
Yeah, and it does say in Genesis, he created everything day by day, and then on the seventh day he rested.
Right. And I think it's important, and depending on your lifestyle. So I recently had a transition in my career. I used to work every single Sunday. So Sunday wasn't my rest day. Mm-hmm. So again, this isn't a one size fits all. It's not bad if Sunday isn't your rest day and you have to work whenever everyone else is off. Mm-hmm. That might just be what your season looks like right now. It could be any other day of the week. If you have Tuesday, Thursday off, or it's inconsistent. I used to be in retail, so schedule's ever changing. Any retail folks out there. So it's constantly changing. And I think you just need to refuel by doing things that you enjoy. If that's sleeping, so be it. It doesn't make you lazy. You need that time to be able to recharge. It could be grocery shopping. I find grocery shopping very therapeutic.
I love grocery shopping. If people just buy groceries on their apps, I'm like, I love going to the grocery store.
I love just strolling through the aisles. I end up, and don't go hungry, but it can be many different things that you find rest in.
I love how you pointed out Sunday. I think I was listening to a podcast or a sermon once that there's like something that says like Sunday is like the busiest day of the week. Now, why is that? People will go to church. That's their day to spend time with their family before they start the work week. And again, you're focusing more on what the week is to come than actually resting.
Yeah.
So if you just notice that Sundays are not your day to rest, it's okay to pick another day. Just because, you know, the Sabbath day, I think the actual definition is like from Saturday night to Sunday night.
Yeah.
It's okay to do a different day, because the point of it is to be not thinking about those days, to be in maybe not solitude, but thinking and constantly being like, okay, what's the next move in work? What's the next thing I need to focus on? What's the next check mark off my to-do list?
Yeah.
And
like Sunday resets are so popular right now. They come up on my feed all the time.
And honestly,
Sunday reset with me.
I have no time on
Sunday.
I have no time on Sunday. I go to church, we do our thing, we go get lunch. Will always wants to go to the beach on Sunday. So we don't actually rest. I'm not saying that I don't rest on the beach, but to me, that's not a rest day, if that makes sense. But I also want to talk to the people that are just starting out and they're like, okay, I understand that this is important, that resting is important, that it's vital for my health and my relationship with Christ. One day is a lot.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. Like to say that I'm not going to focus on work for a full day. That's a lot.
You might have one day off a week and say, I've got to do laundry. I've got to get my kids, little Jimmy stained his shorts this week at school. I've got to go pick up new shorts today. I don't have time to rest. I've got these kids. Find an hour, it might not be, I don't know why Jimmy was the first name that popped in my head.
That's so funny.
But, yeah.
It starts from 0 to 1. If we've used that scale a lot, I think it's such a great representation of, you can't go 0 to 100. It's 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and think of it as you've never had a rest day. So 0 hours. Let's start with an hour. An hour, you're putting your phone down and you're doing something that involves maybe reflecting on what you're thankful for that God's provided, or you're not thinking about anything. You're just being yourself. And I think that is really important in today's world, that if you take that time to be alone and to know who you are without your phone telling you who you are. I mean, do you know how there's like a study out that teenagers and kids have such a short attention span because of TikTok?
Oh, I believe it.
Because
everything is short form content.
Short form content, whereas instead of like a movie or a very long YouTube video, beside the point.
They've even started taking clips of Grey's Anatomy and putting it into short sequences. I don't know why that's on my TikTok feed, but because people can't sit and watch a whole show. They just want to watch clips.
And you're like, you end up watching the whole episode just because you're scrolling through your phone. But it's really important if you want that two-way relationship with Christ, he wants your undivided attention, not 2 seconds of a viral video.
Yeah. And how much more refreshed will you feel? We talked about it. I don't remember if it was the last time or the previous when we talked about posture of your heart. When you're recharged, and I've also talked about the analogy of syncing a phone. I have an iPhone. If you have an Android or anything, we have some of the most intelligent technology these days. Our phones even need to charge. There's not an everlasting battery that just keeps going. They have to recharge, and they have a source. They have a power source. So do we. And if you keep using your phone, it runs out of battery and you can't use it anymore. Think of yourself like that battery, right? So you need to recharge yourself. And that's why the Lord incorporated the Sabbath day, because you need to be the best version of yourself. And you might think that comes from working your tail off every single day. I mean, I'm a daughter of entrepreneurs. I know the result of what hard work can do. And that's what I incorporate into my daily life too. But we also see what can happen if you don't rest. And the result of that is burnout. How are you going to continue to show up and be the best version of yourself every single day if you don't rest?
A mentor told me a long time, not that long ago, but just kind of said, an hour is vital than no hours at all.
Yep.
If you have 1 hour of just being alone and doing something that glorifies God, you will feel recharged and more rested than you would if you didn't do it at all and all you did was sleep when you needed to sleep.
Yeah.
And, it's so easy to get caught up in, well, I have to do this by this day. I have to do that by that day. But again, we've talked about it before, is like dying to your flesh. You know, do I want to take a Sabbath day? No, but it's dying to my flesh and spending time with my Creator, you know. And obviously we announced that I'm engaged, and now I'm like stressed out about all the stuff I have to do. And I have to still remember in this season of my life that it is important to take time and not think about those things.
And you know what that rest will do is, that's another big thing that we touched on a few podcasts ago, is thinking, I get to do this, instead of looking at something as a requirement. How many years of your life have you dreamed about being engaged and getting to plan your wedding? You can have burnout with work and planning out your weeks and your Sunday reset and cleaning your countertops or whatever, vacuuming your car, planning a wedding, trying to figure out and navigate this crazy life that we all live, you know, whatever yours looks like at home, whatever your crazy to-do list looks like. You just bring so much more joy when you get to rest and think, okay, now I can continue to see what's next in my wedding planning process. Not, oh my gosh, I have to find a venue right now, you know?
Well, another thing too is, like you say, Sunday reset. And I love those videos. And if you're like, I love doing that, it is my time to be alone, keep doing it. Keep doing it. If you're like, that is my time to talk to the Lord, keep doing it. What I think we're trying to say is, if you're trying to do the Sunday reset because everyone else is doing it and you're more stressed out doing it than not, it might not be for you, and that's okay. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. I don't do Sunday resets. I hate them. I do everything on Monday.
I do too. Monday's my reset day.
They are my day to get my stuff done, and I am much more relaxed than if I tried to do it on Sunday. Because Sunday can be a lot. But we want you to win the day, and I know that, you know, those yellow lights are super annoying and those red lights are super annoying. But remember, like Madison said, if you keep pointing it out to people, that's all you're going to be able to reflect and think on. And it's important to reflect on the green lights rather than the red.
Absolutely.
And if you want to hear more about the weekly focus, be sure to check it out on YouTube. Trevor discussed the book Win the Day by Mark Batterson. Sorry, I totally almost botched that. He also did a bonus episode this week, which I am so pumped for to listen to. He just poured his heart out and just gave practical steps to win the day. If you are, you know, struggling with burnout or you're just having thoughts, please give that bonus episode a listen, and please seek counseling. We encourage that, and we will love on you in that. Again, Madison said, comment down below in the YouTube or message our Instagram. You are our family, and we love doing life with you. Let's
thank
go
you
win
for
the day.
listening to us. Thank you for spending, if it's Wednesday when you're listening to this, or if it's some point down the road, or you just found us and now it's months in the future, thank you for joining us today. This is really something that we love to do, and that connection, it goes beyond the studio that we're in and the camera we're talking to. So
we're so excited to get to do this life, and let's make some green lights more important than red lights.
Absolutely. We hope you hit all green lights on your way to work today.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.